Hello my fellow preppers, this is the Homestead Prepper. I'd like to talk with you all about economic collapse, homestead defense. When the U.S. economy finally does collapse, it's not going to be a pretty picture, as y'all know. The scenario I see unfolding is the entitlement people are not going to get their food stamps, free rent, free electricity, and when they don't get that, they're going to go crazy and they're going to start looting, and that'll be the first thing that happens, is the looting. And then what the government's going to do is they're going to institute martial law, and then the government will start going door to door like in Katrina and confiscating your weapons to help you. Now, I never heard in New Orleans that the police went out and tried to confiscate weapons from the gangs. Now, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. The government went in high-end neighborhoods. They took their guns. Any honest people that they ran across, they seized their weapons, leaving them defenseless. Now that's ridiculous, but that is our government. So, how do we defend our homesteads against the government and the gangs? The government, like I said, is going to confiscate weapons, and they'll probably want you to go stay in some public building, and then you won't be allowed to leave. Sound familiar? And the gangs, what they're going to do is they're going to come and confiscate your weapons. They're going to take your food, your water. Of course, then they're going to want to rape you and torture you and all that. Have all kinds of fun. Now, what you would do is you have to decide whether you need to bug out or dig in. Now, only you with your unique situation can make that decision. Not anyone you see or hear on YouTube. You have to ask yourself, a couple questions. Do you live in a strategic area? Do you have food and water resources? Do you have weapons, a lot of ammo, a lot of people to help defend yourself? You make your choices. Now, if you choose to stay, or if you don't have anywhere else to go, then the first thing I would do is I'd get as many people on my team as possible. Friends, family, neighbors, anyone who could fog a mirror. And just to side note here is I'd like to do that right now, but every one of my friends, relatives, and neighbors, they all think I'm crazy. So I kind of figure that if the SHTF does happen, when it does happen, that their views will change. But getting back to what to do, now after you get everyone together, what do you do with all these people? Well, you need to organize. Now this is not a job for a community organizer. This is a job for someone with a military background. Now this is very important because the gang members are very highly trained by the U.S. military. They go in there, they learn tactics, and then they come back home and they use them against everyone else or other gang members or whatever. You need a very highly trained person in the military to organize, like I said, and be aware of these tactics that the gangs are going to use that you've never heard of or you'd never think of, being a civilian. Now, I must tell you that you must beware of a person who brags about what a great military leader that he or she is. Now, he or she might be. However, I had an acquaintance who was in the Army, Air Force, and Navy. He transferred around a lot, and I can see where someone hearing his boasting and BSing might believe how wonderful he was. But in reality, he was just all full of crap, a control freak, and he had delusions of grandeur. So what I'm saying is that in an SHTF, you must be a good judge of character, to the point as if your life depended on it. Now, if you don't have a military leader in your group, so you're going to have to be the leader. So my advice is you must learn as much as possible about tactics and survival. The first thing you'd want to do is set up a defensive position. Now, the Southern Prepper 1, he has outstanding information on defense, tactics, observation posts, all kinds of stuff. I highly recommend you watch his channel and take some notes. I think it would be very valuable. Now, once you've set up all your defenses, get them up to par, your intelligence gathering, and your observation posts, that you have on top of buildings or in burned out cars or whatever. I mean, use your imagination. And let's just say you receive some information that a gang is coming to your area. Okay? Now, ideally, what you want to do is be proactive and go on the offensive, because it's better to attack away from your homestead than it is to try and be inside your home and trying to defend it. Think of a firebomb and think about what happened at Waco. Now, I believe it's very important to have homestead defense, but you also need offense too. Now, what I'm saying is that you need the best defense is a strong offense. That's what I'm trying to convey. Okay? And if you have to engage in a fight, remember that there's no such thing as a fair fight. If your intelligence says there's 75 gang members on motorcycles and pickup trucks heading your way, and there's only 75 of you in your force, well, I would not engage them head on. With 1-to-1 odds, no. And the reason being is that there's a 50% chance that you might lose. I mean, it's like tossing a coin. See, now, I don't believe in those odds. Those aren't good enough. Now, I like the odds of, like there's 75 of them coming your way, and there's 750 or 1,000 of you. See, now that's more like it. So you've knocked your chances of losing way down, and your chances of decimating the enemy way up. Now, if it happens that, there's 75 of you, and there's 750 or 1,000 of them, then I would probably bug out of my location, take whatever I could with me, but I would also employ ambush and hit and run tactics. Now, ambush and hit and run can be very effective against a larger force if you do it properly, but you have to have good escape routes. So what you want to do is, like, say your intelligence says that the gang is going to be crossing a bridge or some point, and you want to set up an ambush there and take out as many of them as you can as quickly as you can. Maybe you're only going to have a firefight there for 1 minute. Let's just say that 1 minute, you get off as many rounds as you can, and then what you want to do is get the hell out of there, and then let the thing, you get away from the situation. And then if you try another ambush tactic, don't try the same tactic again at the same place. They're going to be ready. Always try something different, something new, something improved. Now this is just a scenario to get your mind thinking of possibilities. Your results in the SHTF may vary. Please leave me some comments, ideas, and suggestions so that we can all learn from one another. Thank you very much. Homestead Prepper out.